Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Wahakodash Rakah. All right, so we gonna get straight to it. Um, this is a news break article. It's super interesting. It's a lot of just edification you can get out of just reading it. It's a few points that I want to touch on it. I probably won't get through the whole article. And ultimately just let the title speak and we'll get into it. The title reads, I expected the America I had seen on TV. But life on Chicago's South Side is a struggle. All right. And the whole article is written by this female here. She's an immigrant from Nigeria. So she possibly could be a Jake, but I'm not sure. That's not the point. We really gonna just get into what she's saying here. So again, I expected the America I had seen on TV, but life on Chicago's South Side is a struggle. It reads, my name is Ajabola. All right. Try saying it 3 times, and I'm pretty sure you'll say it wrong. Most people do. My name is Nigerian, and so am I. All right. And this off top is just the spirit of, even, making this, corny joke about the pronunciation of your name. Like that's just the mentality of people who are trying to buy in to being an American or coming here, and fitting in, being part of America, like buying into the humor, the mannerisms of this place, There's like a corny Edomite joke, you could just see it off top. But that's what these people, who come to America come expecting. They want to fit in. They want to, truly be part of this so-called American dream. All right. But let's keep reading. It says, I moved to Chicago almost 5 years ago, 5 days before my 14th birthday. Before that, we lived in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. All right. So that's where she's originally from. Then my dad lost his job and my godmom died. My mom, an assistant to the police commissioner, had quit her job to start her own shop so she could have time with my little sister and me. All right. It's a key point we'll come back to. It says, but thieves were constantly breaking into the shop, making it impossible for her to earn a living. So my parents decided to sell their house and move to the U.S., the United States. All right. We thought coming to America would end our family's adversity. All right. And that's the thought of these people when they come to America. Those who have never been here, they believe that coming to America is going to, change their life. They're going to come here and live the American dream. They're going to come and everything is going to be, corrected from whatever they're used to experiencing. All right. So we got a few scriptures we'll grab. We'll come here to Revelation. We'll start in Revelation 18 in verse 3. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. And that her that's being spoken of here is Babylon the Great. All right. Which is a code name in the Bible for America. All right. For all nations. She's from a whole different nation. She's from a different country. Have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. So they thought that America was truly it, and the wine, representing, the philosophies, the ways, the things you buy into with being in America or, chasing the American dream. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. All right. So all of the top countries, top nations in the world, they work with America. America, or Babylon the Great, according to the scripture, she's likened to a whore. All right. That's it among many waters. You know what I'm saying? So she's all over the place. She has many dealings, as a whore with many different countries. All right. And we'll keep reading. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So these people, they make come us by dealing with America. All right. Because this is the place to go, to sell, to buy, There's many different outlets here, but you have to understand that it's a serving purpose, and it's a certain people who have access to these goods. Not all people have the access to it. You know what I'm saying? Which we'll get into through the article. But for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. That's what this sounds like. We thought coming to America would end our family's adversity because they thought they was about to get in on the riches here and become, part of the American dream. I imagined, all right, very key word, I imagined an America of TV and movies with nice tilled roads and fancy suburban houses. And all that stuff do exist, but it's not available unless you're a so-called white person, all right? If you're not an Edomite or, you're not descended from Esau, you're not in on the American dream. You're not going to get in on it, all right? And, one more scripture real quick before we move forward. She says she imagined Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage? The heathen raging because they have drunk of that wine. They have drunk of the juice. They have been drunken. They believe in the ways of this wicked, this wicked kingdom. It says, and the people imagine a vain thing, and it's been explained. They drunk. They drunk off the Babylon juice, man. She said, I imagine an America of TV and movies. She was filled with those TV shows and movies she watched that showed America as this great place that, always comes through and wins the war, saves the day, No, that's not it. With nice tilled roads and fancy suburban houses. Again, that is set aside for a specific people, It seems silly now, but I really thought America was a paradise on earth. All right, so America really has themselves pumped up around the world, man. If you're not, perceiving that within reading. An ideal country where everyone who lived there was rich. I never knew systemic racism existed and still exists here. I just figured that everyone would be treated equally. I had to board 2 planes to get to America, one from Lagos, Nigeria to Dubai and another from Dubai to Chicago. All right, so you went through much to get here. I was on the plane for 23 hours. It was exhausting, but I believed I was on my way to starting a new life where I live like Angelina Jolie. So she thought coming to America that she would become an Edomite. Simply put, a so-called white person. She thought she would get that same treatment, but that's not reality. That's all part of you being drunk off that wine and being drunk and believing in just the falseness of the nature of the lies that this place teaches, man, or puts out into the world. Let's keep reading, though. It says, when we arrived in Chicago, my dad showed me where we'd be staying. An antiquated Southside apartment. Antiquated just meaning like antique, so it's old. It's probably run down, busted up, beat up, you see? It was something not ideal. Shared with about 3 other families. There was no privacy. There was no heat. Our lights and water were going in and out. There was one bathroom that we all had to share, which made me uncomfortable. My younger sister and I had to sleep on the floor. You see? No, it's not in line with her American dream. I believed I was on my way to starting a new life where I'd live like Angelina Jolie. All right? So that didn't happen. All right? You came to the realization that the so-called white man, hates you. And there's no real opportunity here for, you so-called black people or any other, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is Esau's kingdom, man. Simply put, the so-called white man rules and reigns here, and they're not letting anybody else in on that. All right, that's who the American dream, quote unquote, is for. But food was also very scarce because my parents had no income. My mom would go around looking for people who needed help cooking. All right, so this is how they made their ends. So I'm going to read through this. That's how they got by for the first few months, as she said. She said, I started school in Chicago just months before my 8th grade graduation. I might not remember my middle school classmates' names or faces, but I definitely remember the lockdown drill I experienced soon after arriving. My teacher explained that it meant we were supposed to act as if there was a gunman in the school. I remember thinking, why would there ever be a shooting in the school? These drills plus the reality of gun violence in my Southside neighborhood, which, me through experience, I can attest. That's very true. So a lot of gun violence out in the Southside is not a safe place to be. made me realize I could be shot in class or on my way to and from school or while playing outside, which is reality. That's the reality of being in America. That's not the actual true reality, but that's the reality um, of living here, of moving to the south side of Chicago or someplace like that, man. And you see, she got a picture here with Obama. You know what I'm saying? Another, pawn to this American dream. Pushing hope. But let's keep on reading this. A few more points we will close out. It says, back in Nigeria, I had never even heard a gunshot. I used to play outside a lot there. Here, I imagine going to one of those fancy suburban parks every day after school. Again, she had that dream that she was a so-called white person, because they do these things. They're able to, all right, because this place was made for them, and it serves them. It allows them that dream. I was expecting a different version of America. All right, you was expecting that, but because you came over here drunk and you believed that you were going to wax rich through all her delicacies, and that just wasn't true. All right, at least that's what your parents taught to you. But as she's showing, that's not what she received. My living situation improved after my parents applied for asylum and got work permits. We moved out of that cramped apartment, but now my parents work such long hours, 6 days a week, I barely saw them. And that's, again, just going into the way this system works here. You go work so much, you're not going to be able to enjoy nothing. And if you remember, if you scroll back up, I said it was a point to remember, her mom quit her job so she can spend more time with her kids. But she come to America trying to further that, and it gets even further away. Now you're working all day. Look, some days they left our apartment in Chicago's Inglewood neighborhood at 1 p.m. and didn't return until 2 a.m. Often when I was up getting ready for school, my parents were sleeping. When I came back from school, they were at work. They still work long hours to keep our family afloat because they have become hamsters on the wheel. And, the monopoly board of America, they're going to be working until they die. Basically, America is believed to be the land of opportunities. All right. But America makes those opportunities very difficult to access for people who are not born into privileged, aka so-called white people. They're born into privilege. Here in America, the American dream narrative. See, the American dream narrative of go to school, get good grades, apply for scholarships, and better yourself. Which actually does work for these so-called white people. All right, these Edomites. It says it's not that easy in an underfunded community where people don't have access to basic amenities, meaning neighborhoods that are full of so-called black people. All right, Jakes. All right, the true Israelites. All right, they don't have basic amenities or even access to them. It is not that easy when everyone is fighting for their lives because of poverty and the threat of gun violence, which is very true. As of mid-December, more than 800 people in Chicago were killed by homicide, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. And I have an article on the very same, basic, topic about these 800 people in Chicago being killed, which is an updated version of it. All right. And this is from the news. I took a picture. It says 2021 homicides in Cook County, which is Chicago. It says 1,009 homicides, highest in 27 years. All right. 156 children or teenage victims. So it's a lot of young, people getting hit. Those school drills, like it's all reality, man. Very, very interesting point here. 96% of victims, African American or Latino. All right. So-called African American or so-called Latino. So we talking about Jake. 96% of these 1,009 people who died were Jakes. They were Israelites. And I did the math. Out of 1,009, 96% of that is like 970 something. All right. So 970 of these deaths, of these 1,009 deaths, were you so-called black people who are in fact Israelites. All right. This will show you that you Israelites are living in a nightmare. You have to depart from this place, man. All right. You have to depart from this place. And I'm going to get one more scripture and I'll probably close out. For those of you who want to read the article, I'll leave the link in the description. And we'll go back to where we was at in Revelation chapter 18. All right. And on verse 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, all right, you Israelites, all right, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, all right, because America is written to be destroyed. And we'll come here to Amos, and I wasn't even meaning to, even get these scriptures, but, we make the point and close out. Amos chapter 9 and verse 8, it says, behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, all right? That sinful kingdom is America, all right, who is lying and pretty much just being wicked, the great whore, teaching and promoting the ways of wickedness, to the whole earth, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. All right, so the Lord, he's going to save his elect, the elect of the house of Israel. All right, starting with the men, the hopeful elect men, and then the rest of the 1/3, the men, women, and children, all the true believers of the Israelite nation, who are written to be, delivered out of destruction. But, again, very interesting article. I don't want to be very long-winded, so if anybody's interested in reading more, I'll drop the link in the description. Again, I expected the America I had seen on TV, but life on Chicago's South Side is a struggle, right? Which is the reality. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom.